Welcome to Careers in Accounting. Today we're pleased to welcome Audrey Katcher. Audrey is a consulting partner at RubinBrown, one of the large accounting firms in the area. So Audrey, welcome. Thank you for taking the time today to be with us. Maybe you want to introduce yourself and explain a little bit about what you do, and we'll kind of go from there.
Hi, I'm Audrey Katcher, partner at RubinBrown, where I lead in our consulting practice some of our IT activities related to cybersecurity or internal controls. I was also chair of the Board of Examiners with AICPA when the new exam came out in January 2024. I'm currently on the Baker Tilly International Board, where I lead Professional Standards Committee. We're part of that network as RubinBrown, as an independent firm. And lastly, as of May, I'm on the AICPA board, also the SEMA board. So a lot of different roles.
Very busy.
But a lot of things to share with students to say, look at all of these opportunities here and abroad. Perfect.
Well, we're going to explore those. So maybe we back all the way back up. So when you were a student, what got you interested in accounting? What piqued your interest?
I had to get a job. I wanted to get a job, a good paying job, and one that I could do in 4 years. I couldn't afford to go that fifth year. And so accounting was the path that I chose. I had a very supportive environment in school and at home for that. But I needed to get a career and a job that was both exciting and lucrative.
Okay. And then did you encounter the path of audit versus tax when you were graduating? And talk about that a little bit, because you're not on that path now.
No.
Just kind of like walk
completely
us through.
changed paths.
Walk us through that.
When I started at PwC, I started in accounting, audit, I should say. And I actually was a December grad, so I worked a busy season. I was off for the summer. I worked at Account Temps, and then I started for real in the fall. And that was the audit path. 2.5 years in, they trained me on IT. I was much better considering the technology aspects of a business than just the accounting debits and credits. And so trained on IT, and I've been helping companies evaluate their technology, their controls around that ever since 1992.
Okay, excellent. So you've been doing this for a number of years. So just kind of outline a couple fulfilling areas. What keeps you energized about doing this for your career?
Well, being at RubinBrown is one. We have an amazing culture. We take care of our team. We give them a great career in life, and we give them opportunities. So if you're a student that was thinking about consulting, you might come in audit, tax, or you might come into M&A or the IT area, but we will take you and give you opportunities to get into other consulting areas as well. So it's inspiring to be at a place that lets you grow and change as the world is changing.
Yeah, it's easy to stay. It's easy to stay. So can you talk about a couple recent projects that you've been involved with that might be of interest to the students?
With Baker Tilly International Board, we had an amazing board meeting in Austria this year, where we were staying in a castle, had a dinner dance with grand music and dancers in the castle and all of that. We've also met in Mexico City. Through the years, I've been in training in Singapore. So the idea is that I've been local and been able to capitalize on relationships here with this firm, with RubinBrown, but then I've also been able to get global experiences, which makes me a better consultant to my clients.
Yeah, so it's when you take what you do and then you start doing it cross-border, it just opens up a whole another area dealing with different cultures, languages, and all that. So it's fascinating. One of the interesting things about public accounting is the opportunities that come along during one's career. You changed firms in your career, but can you talk a little bit about what those opportunities are and what you've just kind of seen and observed from colleagues and people who've worked for you that have done different things? Because not everybody chooses to stay in public accounting their entire career.
And what we saw over the years, those who choose to go in industry, they can land in really good positions, but the longer they stay in public, the better, higher level position, I'd call it, they would land in industry. Industries had a lot of turnover, so they don't always land in the better place. So really take into consideration what you're doing, why you're doing it, but you can land in a better place after getting the skill sets in public. I often say, public accounting's like learning in dog years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the value you take into a company is exponentially more than someone who didn't start in a firm.
Yeah, when you couple the training with the
Yeah.
experiences, I mean, it's just phenomenal how marketable you become, both within the firm, and then you changed firms.
Yeah.
Other firms are interested in looking at other firms' professionals, but then also corporations, right? Like you're saying, that's where they hire from for the higher level positions in their organization.
But we started out discussing about why you do this, why you stay, and all that stuff. But like with RubinBrown, we get to work with so many different clients, industries. You see the culture of all these companies, and you're there to help them along. It's just awesome to be able to see that breadth of business from one perch.
And that allows you the opportunity to kind of find your path, right? Because I'm sure, if you look backwards, you probably never expected that you'd be doing what you're doing now and all the various experiences that you had. And it's just fascinating. You don't know what you don't know in public accounting when you get there and you see what people actually do. It's phenomenal. So the accounting field has been having issues with getting the eyeballs of young students to be interested in accounting. And we talked a little bit about maybe issues is not the right term. Maybe it should be looked at as opportunities. What does that mean for the people who choose to come to that profession? But can you just talk a little bit about kind of the different roles you're playing in the profession as well, and just the thought process about not getting enough talent coming into accounting?
So with the AICPA board and sometimes with the board of examiners and the pipeline groups, these are opportunities. This is the best opportunity to upskill our team, to upskill those coming in, because accounting is going to get more interesting. It's not going to be the mundane that it was. We will have someone we will train, maybe it's an AI, that will do some of the mundane, but it still needs managed. It still needs to be taken care of as things change. So we're in a whole new dynamic space where we can play a whole new role. Some of those roles haven't even been defined yet as technology is changing so fast on us. So it is becoming more exciting. And if you look at where CPAs land, they land in all kinds of industries, all kinds of roles to help business run better today.
Yeah, I like to think of it as business is not going to stop being chasing customers, chasing efficient manufacturing, and chasing things globally. And so that backdrop, and then the changing landscape of IT changing, law changing, regulations changing, they need help. And that's a fantastic opportunity for a young person. You don't want it to be simple and boring, same as last year type of thing. So let's talk a little bit about AI, because you touched upon that. So there's a lot of angst on campus about AI. Articles are written about the impact to college graduates, and is it going to take away entry-level positions like wholly? What is your perspective on the technology?
AI is a puppy.
Okay.
It's a puppy that needs training. It's a puppy that needs monitoring. It's a puppy that's not going to tell you if it hallucinated and chewed up your sock or chewed up that database. So it's there to make some of the monotonous better, or to be a first draft of things right now in the stage that it's in. But the advantage, if you look at the career advantage for people, it's that we have something the technology does not. We have empathy. We have judgment. We have emotional IQ. There are so many aspects of a human that are going to still have to function and be that consultant, whether it's the finance, the tax, the technology that a CPA can do. That client service still needs that human interaction and that human management of something doing the monotonous.
Yeah, and that communication aspect, I think, is highly important, right? It's a tool, and accounting has been using tools pre-AI, right? Anything to help the shortage of talent and to do their jobs efficiently. I like to stress to students about the communication aspect and really focusing on that, because that can't be outsourced, that can't be automated. It's such a rare skill, and it's not something you have upon graduation. You have to work on it. Right. And my wife still thinks I need to work on my communication, which
I'm not going to judge that.
Probably do. But they can have opportunities to do that while they're in school. There's lots of different things and areas they could look at to do that type of thing. But I'm assuming in RubinBrown that a good communicator is going to be highly valued in that organization.
Great communicator, and it's somebody with attitude and aptitude.
Okay.
Do you want to help clients? The want to help other team members. Yeah. And we put in there too the wanting to help the community and have fun at work. Yeah. But the attitude and aptitude is going to be critical for success, and that communication is always a core to that.
Yeah. Can we talk about compensation for a little bit? Because that's on the mind of young people as well, is they see starting salaries. That's the most common metric that's out there in the public domain, is comparing business professions and what starting salaries are. And historically, accounting has lagged, right. I think, from what a finance major or investment banking person can start off with. But I think that's changing. There's been some articles written about that. But given your role and your role outside of RubinBrown, but also your experience is in RubinBrown, what are your thoughts on compensation for a young person? And then also think about the 3 to 5 year person and kind of how that can scale up pretty rapidly. So
the compensation obviously is going to be a little different by market, but it has scaled up to be competitive. And Robert Half has some good studies on that we monitor as well. But we are in that competitive range, and those with the CPA will get 10 to 15% more pay. So the compensation is there, but don't look at just the starting. Look at their career, because as I watched people in firms, their compensation went like this. Whereas I watched if they went into industry, they jumped into a comp that might have been higher than their firm comp at that point in time, but they stayed there and the firm personnel would go higher. So the comp needs to look at it from a career standpoint. And
it can be extremely rewarding. Right.
Yes.
In your position, my position before joining WashU, it can be very life-changing at the end of the day. And I like to stress to students that there's going to be a next generation of partners at these firms. It happens day by day. We all get older, but the work is there. The work is there. The complexity is there. So I like the word opportunity that you educated me on earlier. It's not an issue. It's an opportunity for those that choose to go that path. One of the other stereotypes that I think the profession suffers from is the busy season moniker, that you guys have boom and bust cycles and you're really, really busy at certain parts of the year and then you're twiddling your thumbs at other parts of the year. How do you use that to your advantage? Like how do you deal with work-life flexibility and balance? Well, on the consulting side, I want to say we don't run on those cycles of those deadlines. So I'm not going to speak to audit and tax deadlines and how those cycles go, but I watch those teams take care of people during cycles of heavy time and during cycles of slow time. On the consulting side, we can tend to be more, I'd say, smoother, unless there's an uptick. Like right now, there's an uptick in M&A activity. So that's going to get a little busier, but we're being careful to take care of the team, make sure they're not overburdening themselves. So I think it's a misnomer about some of that pressure. It can be related to what's going on with that client cycle, like a new system implementation where we're helping with business process improvement during that implementation. That could have an uptick when you're getting close to the deadline. But then there are other times it's downtime where we get to work on our methodologies and things like that. So it's all a matter of, communicating. Did we talk about that? Yes. Communicating with the team and understanding what's going on in their life and who needs help at this time and who needs help at this time, who needs to back off a little bit and someone else can step in. So it's a matter of how you manage it and treat people. Yeah. It's not just work for a busy season. Yeah, and it's that trust factor. I'm sure you would maybe agree with this. Pre-pandemic, if someone told you on your team that you were working from home, you'd be like, yeah, they're sitting on the couch and maybe checking email occasionally like that. But when we all had to work from home, we learned how to do it. Right. And we learned to trust other people, that you can do your role and you don't have to be sitting next to me to do your job. Oh, no, we're super connected. Yeah. Like with Teams,
I can find you anywhere.
Yeah,
and you can find me anywhere.
And it's liberating. It's like as you get more responsibilities in your life, it gives you more time to do that than spending time in traffic and that type of thing. Let's talk. Let's end with besides pure technical skills, what areas are things do you think would help a young person be successful in a business environment? Because right now, I think everybody's focused on their studies and learning debits and credits and accounting courses and things like that. But given your background and what you've seen, the profession requires a lot more than just that baseline technical knowledge, which is still important, but there's other skills that are equally as valuable. What would you suggest them to do and focus on while they're at WashU?
To do the communication, practice that. Practice, being on video, practice presentations to unusual groups and things like that. Practice communication. But then also look at leadership. How are you going to help others? Because you're going to need to be a leader of other people to be successful. And by the way, when you're starting out to be a leader of other people, it may not be that you're managing 2 or 3 other people. It may be that you can help the team be more effective by doing things to help the leader. Yeah. So look at your role. How are you helping the team out? And then as you grow, you'll be managing that team. But how are you helping the team? And then how do you have a passion to make the client's business better? Okay. And just having that passion. So study their industry. Think a little different. You're going to know more about the environment than any kind of AI technology is. You can bring the whole environment together for the client to give them good advice. Yeah.
So start developing that career mindset. It's not a job. It's your part of your life.
Well said. Better said.
And I think that looking for areas where you could speak in front of others and get eyeballs looking at you, it is a learned skill. If you practice it, it gets easier as the more times you do it.
The best course I ever took was Junior Achievement, Dale Carnegie, The Art of Impromptu Speaking. Yeah. And I still use that today.
And doing that on campus in a nice sheltered environment where nothing bad is going to happen to you is just a great place to practice, because you're not going to be refined at it when you graduate. It's something you do throughout your career, but you can start. You can start today. Okay. Well, this has been excellent. This is great, and the profession is really lucky to have you so involved outside of your workday responsibilities. So that's awesome that you're giving back. So really appreciate that as well. But thank you for taking time out of all those responsibilities to visit us today. Thank you.
Thank you.